So in the product development realm, the example that I'll use is this concerns around today around the tools. I won't say the vendor's name, but the tools that will take screenshots of you as you're working around every 3 or so minutes and take screenshots of what's happening on your computers, right? Whether it's your laptop, your servers. I don't have all the details, but I know that that is a concern. And that is not the only vendor that has this type of capability. This capability has been integrated before now. So the question I have for you is, when we're looking at product development, what do we do? What should we be considering to better integrate cybersecurity so that we are protecting ourselves? And is that a good example of something we should be doing? Is the screenshots of what we're doing?
Okay, well, I'll answer the last question first. Absolutely not. There isn't a need to take a screenshot of someone's machine on a regular interval basis, especially when there's other tools out there to save and capture data that isn't so intrusive. And I think for this particular product, the way it's doing it, um, it's not protecting the information at all. It's basically leaving it out there for anyone to pick up and to retrieve. But back to the earlier part of your question, this is an issue I think that has been going on at least 30 years that I know of, and probably even longer than that when it comes to product development. Oftentimes the when we sit down and people sit down and do these software sprints, they're so focused on the functionality. They're focused on, how do I get something out there that people are going to think is cool? Somebody comes up with an idea and says, okay, well, we're going to do a sprint, and in the next, 3 to 6 months, we're going to have something out to market. And a lot of those discussions are really more or less financial driven. It's how fast can I get my new novel thing to the market? And what's typically missing in those conversations is security. And when someone says that they have security in that conversation, it's never from a use case perspective. And that's where it has to start. You have to not just look at it from, okay, well, we've got two-factor authentication on it, and we've got, they
Uh-huh.
make it very, very siloed, right? So we're doing, okay, well, we might encrypt the data, we might do these certain specific things, but we haven't taken the product and looked at it from a use case perspective to say, okay, well, how would a person interact with it? And how would a person feel when I'm sitting here watching my screen, taking pictures nonstop, and then I find out that the neighbor down the block has my passcodes, you
Right.
know, and
Right.
I never gave it to them, but they figured out how to get to my my machine's recall